Right now, millions of completely normal teenagers and young adults are training themselves to feel less, on purpose, every single day. Not because something's wrong with them, because somewhere along the way, they learned that caring is the most embarrassing thing you can do in public. Here's the question that should actually disturb you. What if being unbothered isn't a personality? What if it's not confidence, not coolness, not maturity, but a slow, quiet injury happening in plain sight? Because once you see how this actually works, you're gonna start spotting it everywhere. In your group chat, in your own reflection, maybe in the very last text you decided not to respond to too quickly. Let's get into it. So here's the unwritten rule running through basically every friend group, every classroom, every comment section right now. If you care too much, you lose. Text back too fast. Cringe. Say you're excited about something. Cringe. Admit a relationship actually matters to you. Cringe. The entire culture has quietly agreed that whoever shows the least emotion wins. So what do people do? They perform. Delayed replies even when they saw your message instantly. One-word answers like type or word, specifically designed to feel cold. Sarcasm loaded into every sentence. So nothing ever has to be said with real sincerity. And on the surface, this looks like confidence. Looks like someone who simply doesn't need anyone. But here's the problem with treating coldness like a skill you can just practice your way into. If everyone's performing the exact same, I don't care act, who's actually telling the truth? And what happens to a relationship when both people are doing this at the same time? This is where it gets genuinely sad, not just interesting. Picture two people who are clearly into each other, texting daily, clearly invested, and both of them are terrified of being the one who admits it first. So neither initiates anything real. Both wait for the other person to make a move. Both protect themselves by staying just detached enough to walk away unscratched if it doesn't work out. And the relationship just stalls, forever stuck in what an entire generation now has a name for: the failed talking stage. Never officially together, never officially over. Just two people quietly performing indifference at each other until it dies from neglect. Nobody loses dramatically here. They just slowly drift, convinced the other person simply wasn't that interested. When really, both of them were. They just never said so. So if mutual coldness is quietly killing connection everywhere, why would anyone keep choosing it? Because here's the part nobody tells you. There's actual money and attention behind training you to feel this way. Sociologists call this cold intimacy. The idea that modern life has basically turned emotions into a financial asset, something you calculate, manage, and protect, instead of something you just feel. On dating apps, this gets even more brutal. You're one tap away from being deleted and replaced. So the entire system rewards whoever seems the least desperate, the least invested, the most replaceable by choice. Vulnerability becomes a liability. Disposability becomes the norm. And it's not just dating. Social media runs on the exact same incentive. Every post is curated. Every reaction is calculated for how it'll look to other people watching. Being filmed without warning and going viral for an unguarded emotional reaction is a real, constant fear now. So people preemptively flatten themselves before anyone else gets the chance to do it for them. So this isn't really a personality trend. It's a defense mechanism with a marketing budget. But defense against what? Exactly. What is everyone actually so afraid of underneath all this performance? This is where the science gets uncomfortable, because it traces back further than social media. A lot of this cold, detached behavior maps directly onto something called avoidant attachment. And it usually starts way before anyone's old enough to post online. When a child reaches out emotionally, crying, needing comfort, wanting connection, and a parent is consistently unavailable, dismissive, or just too burned out to respond, the child learns something brutal early. So I'll stop needing them. That's not coldness. That's a survival strategy a kid built, because the adults around them couldn't show up emotionally. And here's the twist that explains why this looks so convincing on the outside. Researchers found something they call the Darras paradox. People with avoidant attachment often look incredibly composed, incredibly in control, hitting their goals looking unshaken. But underneath that polish, they score terribly on actually understanding their own emotions. They're not calm. They're disconnected from themselves. The system isn't healthy regulation. It's suppression wearing a very convincing outfit. So if the calm is fake, what's actually happening underneath it, physically over time? Here's the part that should genuinely worry you, because this isn't staying emotional. It's becoming physical. Suppressed emotion doesn't disappear just because you stopped showing it. It goes somewhere, and clinical research shows it gets trapped in the body, manifesting as chronic stress, poor sleep, and a documented, elevated risk of depression and anxiety. The numbers on this are brutal. Around 40% of US high school students report persistent sadness or hopelessness. About 1 in 5 report suicidal thoughts. These aren't small percentages. This is a generation quietly suffering behind a culture that punishes them for saying so out loud. And to cope with feelings they're not allowed to express, people reach for distraction instead. Endless scrolling, gaming, binge. Watching anything that keeps the discomfort at arm's length without ever actually processing it. So the unbothered mask isn't protecting anyone. It's just delaying the bill with interest. So if pretending not to care is quietly this damaging, what does the alternative actually look like? Here's the part that's gonna sound almost too simple, given everything you just heard. The actual antidote to all of this isn't some elaborate fix. It's just being willing to care out loud in small, low-stakes moments. Texting back when you're actually excited, instead of timing a delay to look unaffected. Telling a friend you genuinely enjoyed hanging out with them. Saying, "I'm nervous," instead of hiding behind a joke. None of these require some big dramatic leap. They just require dropping the performance, one small moment at a time. And the data backs this completely. People who use real emotional processing, instead of suppression, consistently end up with more stable relationships, lower anxiety, and far less of that creeping internal disconnection. The irony is almost too perfect. Caring out loud, the exact thing this whole culture labels as cringe, is actually the rebellious move. It takes more courage than staying detached ever did. So now you've seen the whole picture. The performance, the dating stalemate it creates, where it actually comes from, and what it's silently costing people who keep wearing it. And that leaves you with one real question. If sincerity is actually the braver, harder option, how do you even start practicing it when you've spent years training yourself to do the exact opposite? That's exactly what the next video on your screen walks through. Practical, low-stakes ways people are rebuilding emotional honesty without it feeling forced or humiliating. Click that next, because staying cold was never actually protecting you. It was just costing you quietly, where nobody could see.